Hello, good day. Welcome to this presentation, how to develop a Web3 app in blockchain with JavaScript front-end and Python backend. You can develop in JavaScript or TypeScript, but focusing in this presentation, we are developing in JavaScript and Python. Python in backend or any language in backend. Cesar Cordero Rodriguez is my name from latinchain. Introduction to PyNetwork and PyBrowser. The first step we will have here. latinchain repository and how to develop a app, a Web3 web app in blockchain with JavaScript. Front-end and Python backend. Introduction to PyNetwork, TM, PyBrowser, and PyAPI platform. PyNetwork TM is a new crypto based on Stellar where you can mine cryptos from your phone daily. This is like Bitcoin or any other crypto, but the mining of the crypto with a Pi app in Android or on the other system, like for example Apple. PyBrowser is a new browser, kind of MetaMask, but specifically for PyNetwork, for that crypto. PyAPI platform is the API to develop Pi apps. latinchain repository. latinchain is a Pi app, Web3 app, winner of Pi Hackathon 2021, where you can play games daily using cryptos. The GitHub repo is this, with code in Python, JavaScript, and HTML. We are going to see this repository more on in the following presentation. How to develop a Pi app. Use PyAPI platform to develop your front end in JavaScript or TypeScript, in backend, in any language, following these instructions. You can develop JavaScript with JavaScript in front end. What are you going to do with front end? You can catch from the users the request to pay, and that payment request is going to the backend. That's why it's important the front end to catch the user requests, and then in the backend you can do the request to the PyAPI platform. Not only from users, but for a PyAPI platform, when you get the request from PyAPI platform, you get the response from there and return the response to the front end, and the users will have an answer for his request. Okay, then here we are going to see the GitHub repository for latinchain. Then we are going there, and the GitHub repository is that link you saw in the presentation, in the slide, is github.com pyapps latinchain. Pyapps is a organization in GitHub for PyApps ecosystem. latinchain is open source. You can develop over latinchain new apps, but only if that app is inside the params of PyNetwork. I mean, if you want to develop in latinchain, you have to use that new system you made in PyNetwork. You can't use that system in all other platform that is competitor of Pi Network. Is a you can watch here the license. The license says that the copyright Cesar Cordero Rodriguez and latinchain. And this is permission heavy granted and all this. And the permissions you have. Okay. Then how to develop a Pi app here with Pi Network and with the help of latinchain. You go to the repository and there is a folder called docs-first app. Here you have how to develop a first Pi Network app. I use Odoo to develop this app. Mainnet, you have it, the link. Testnet, this link. You maybe could use your framework election. The link I have said before is latin-chain.com for mainnet and testnet test.latin-chain.com. Okay, this is the official documentation to build a Pi app in Pi app platform. Okay, you have the link developers.mindpi.com. Official Pi app demo example code github.com/pi-apps-demo. Simplest example for user to app payment. And the following is a working example for receiving the payments in Pi platform. This is for client side HTML. We have this example in JavaScript and the example in backend in PHP. But going back for a moment, you have the latinchain system working. The working latinchain system in latin-chain.com that you have the code here. And you can watch in the code website Pi Network Odoo and website Pi Network Games Odoo. You have models and you have in Python. How to develop here? You have to use Odoo 14 to develop over these modules of latinchain. Okay? But in the simple example you have in the docs first API, you have a server-side PHP. In PHP, you have an example in PHP to let you know you can use any backend. I'm using backend in PHP, for example, for an example, and in Python for my working app. So for you, you can use PHP or Python if you want to develop over Odoo in my using my app. To make it work in server1.php, you need to change the app code as auth app1 by the one coming from client request. Example, if you have auth example in client JavaScript side, you must set it in server1.php. Then you have to access this link Pi app example in latinchain developments, and you have in main.html you have okay, you have here the code, and you can, let me check here. Okay, here app client auth example. If you have auth example here, you need to use the same auth example in JavaScript, the same auth example in the backend side. Then I'm using here auth example, and you have, this is all developed. You just need to use a configuration. Auth example in the front end, auth example in the back end, and you have it working. You have to set here your API key from the Pi browser. Okay, there are some steps you need to use. Okay, you have the documentation, the official documentation in PySDK documentation. Okay, and you have a working an example. You have here README, and you have the official documentation from that link I set in the presentation, and you can watch the official documentation here to develop in a Pi app, a Web3 Pi app. Okay, but here I'm giving you all examples in just one side. App to user payment, because the first example is user to app payment, when a user will pay to an app, and this is for app to user payment. You have to read the documentation and the official documentation that you have here in developers.mindpy.com. Official documentation, and you have app to user payment in Ruby, node.js, Python, Go, Blazor, and C#. If we find here Pi browser, we will watch the apps working. For example, latinchain or any other app. And you will watch many apps here. latinchain, for example, and you will see it working with cryptos. Play games using cryptos. Okay, chess, Sudoku, Snake. If you are a developer, that is a thing for us. We are developers. Okay. For developers, the documentation is the following. We show you in this video, and in Pi browser you can watch as developer brainstorm.py and develop.py, where you will create a Pi app. That is in the documentation. A Pi app, a project, and a Pi app. Develop.py. Okay, thank you for your attendance, and see you.